News Radio 1000 KTOK. I'm GWIN FAULCONER LIPPERT. As you know, for it seems like years now, we have been following the development of a program called Access Oklahoma, which I have lovingly named Excess Oklahoma. Joining me tonight from the Oklahomans for Responsible Transportation are Randy Carter, the Director of Strategic Communications, and Tassie Hirschfeld, best board member, and I appreciate them being here with me tonight. So good evening. I am so sorry I did not get to see the screening of your new film about the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority. What is its official name, and when can people see it?
It's called PIKE OTA, Access Denied. So,
and eager viewers can see it at the Tulsa Film Festival on July 14th, or adventurous travelers can see it at a different film festival in San Antonio on the July 24th, I think.
23rd.
23rd.
And is it a full-length feature?
Yes, it runs about 2 hours. Yes, It is a full-length feature, and it still doesn't tell all the story.
Exactly. There's so much OTA badness that was left out. We might make it a series instead.
So what made you all decide to do a movie?
I believe this was Whitney's, baby brainchild, and just the sense we all had at the beginning, this is something just so pivotal and transformational and just so wrong in every way that we just need to document, right? And I really credit everybody who was involved in the early planning of getting a filmmaker, which I do believe was mostly Whitney. So big tip of the hat to her for being so thoughtful so early in the game, because that early footage is so compelling. Everybody's so traumatized and disturbed, and it's easy to forget what it was like in the early days.
When did this struggle start for you all?
February 2022 is when Governor Stitt announced the Access program at the February board meeting of the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority.
Okay, and you all organized as individuals, volunteers, and all that, and took the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority to court, correct?
Yes.
Twice.
Yes, they've been sued twice. The open meetings case was adjudicated in district court with a summary judgment, which basically, the way I understand it, means that the evidence was so compelling there was actually no need for a trial.
Right, and that was for us, by the way, like our evidence. They had no evidence.
And so how have they been able to progress since you all got off on the right foot?
Well, for quite some time, they pulled the plug. They stopped all work on the access program that has to do with the turnpikes in Cleveland County. I believe that McLean County, too, is where the Tri-City Connector is. Those three, the Tri-City, the East-West, and the Southern Extension, were all put on hold for maybe it was like a year and a half?
I honestly don't remember. It's all kind of run together in my head.
But for quite some time. And then, unfortunately, the Supreme Court, in a split decision, ruled in the Turnpike Authority's favor on that open meetings case.
And what was the thinking of the Oklahoma Supreme Court?
I think it was lack of thinking, quite frankly.
That's the most charitable explanation. There are all kinds of other ones that are far darker, but we won't go there right now, just to say that no part of the justification for that decision really makes sense to anyone that I've talked to about it.
And so as I recall this story, you all actually learned about the project, reading the paper or something like that?
Facebook.
Yeah, actually, I saw it online. I was sitting in my living room chair and was scrolling through social media. I don't remember specifically where, and saw this announcement about a new turnpike. And as I looked closer and saw the map, I was like, holy moly, I'm sitting in the median of this turnpike. They're going to tear my house down to build this turnpike. It was quite unnerving, quite disconcerting. I was actually quite upset, and I had probably, I would say, at least 3 sleepless nights over the whole deal in the first place.
Well, that is understandable. that you had no idea, and then you find out that it looks like they're going to build a turnpike through your neighborhood too. I mean, it's not just your house; it's
right. Oh, yes, it's
your friends and neighbors.
And at the for many months, the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority said, "Well, we don't have any idea how many homes it's going to take." Where a couple of our people got out a map and saw where the line was drawn and counted the number of houses. I know it was a novel technique to be able to do that, but they were able to count the number of homes that would be destroyed, devastated, completely gone from the face of the earth because of these turnpikes. And we came up with a number of well over 600 properties would be destroyed because of these turnpikes. And the Turnpike Authority continued for many months to say they had no clue as to how many homes it would take. We just don't know. And then at a later date, they also said that, these routes were designed to take the fewest number of homes. So I'm like, well, if you've designed them to take the fewest number of homes, but yet you don't know how many homes it's going to take, somewhere there's a mismatch in this thinking to me. So I was a little confused, to say the least.
Do you think there was an attempt just to keep you all in the dark?
Of course. And a very inept one, because there are a lot of smart people working with us. So we found ways to turn on light bulbs and figure out a little bit more. But just their complete obfuscation and, at a certain point, denial of reality. I mean, in one of these media interviews about how many homes, people in our group presented their own analysis, over 600, and then the Turnpike Authority responded by saying no estimates exist. We're gonna tell our story and stick to it no matter what.
And the members of your volunteer group are highly educated people. They are researchers, they are engineers, they are professors, they are public relations people. I mean, your group of people was not the group of people to pick on. And as I remember, Stan Ward early on was the gentleman that represented you all to the Supreme Court, if I'm remembering correctly. He is no longer alive, but he was arguing about the whole thing. And then somehow the Bureau of Reclamation gets involved. Had the Turnpike Authority not done an environmental study into
They still haven't.
They still haven't done any environmental studies. The problem is they drew the line ineptly over the Bureau of Reclamation land, which is basically Lake Thunderbird and the surrounding area.
the watershed,
The watershed. But the Bureau of Reclamation owns Lake Thunderbird and the land surrounding it, and the Turnpike Authority needed permission from the Bureau of Reclamation to build this turnpike over their fee title land, and they didn't have that. They just came out and announced the turnpike, and this is where it's going, having no clue, evidently, that they were going to have to get permission from the Bureau of Reclamation to even do this, to even consider it. And in January of 23, the Bureau of Reclamation denied the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority the right to go over their fee title land. That's what's caused them to have to relocate the southern extension. They say they're going to need to move it west. If they move it east, just a little bit east, it would be over more fee title land. They say they will not move it east of Lake Thunderbird itself for many reasons. So they have announced that they are working on moving it to the west. In fact, tomorrow is the last day that they're taking public comment about whose house it should take instead of mine. So
I want to ask you about that, but I need to take a break if I can. Talking to Randy Carter, he is the Director of Strategic Communications for the Oklahomans for Responsible Transportation. On his board of directors is Tassie Hirschfeld. She too has been a vocal advocate and researcher into what has taken place since 2022 with Access Oklahoma. Do we need these turnpikes? Well, I think
No.
these. Yeah, I think these people would say no. And after you hear what they have to say, it's compelling. You need to also find out where to see their film. We will repeat that when we come back. You're listening to 1000 KTOK. I'm GWIN FAULCONER LIPPERT. Talking to Randy Carter and Tassie Hirschfeld. They're with the Oklahomans for Responsible Transportation, which is the advocate group against the 3 turnpikes being proposed to be built through Cleveland County. It's called Access Oklahoma. It was announced to the public in 2022. And ever since then, after Tassie and Randy learned that at that time it was going to be going through their properties, they have been fighting it with the point and asking the question, do we really need turnpikes? And so, Randy, generally that's where people go, well, I like to drive on the turnpike. I've heard it was designed to take the traffic off I-35. Is that true?
Well, they've said an awful lot of things. They also said that it was designed to divert truck traffic from Dallas to Tulsa, which we know is not the case either. In fact, one of their high-ups in the Turnpike Authority came out at one point. In fact, this clip is actually in the movie, and he said that, well, we know that these turnpikes won't alleviate the problems on I-35. That was basically what he said, wasn't it? So we don't know. I sometimes think I don't know, they seem to have trouble keeping their story straight as to what means what. They say it's for safety. They say it's to divert traffic. We believe that the concept of induced demand, it will increase traffic on I-35 and cause more problems than it will solve. And I'm not an expert on induced demand, but basically what that says is that if you build more roads, you will draw more traffic to them instead of reducing the traffic that's there. And also, because there are new roads, people will then make their commuting distance a little further than they are now because there's new roads there to accommodate that, and it'll make the traffic problem worse instead of better.
Well, I have to ask you a question. Okay, the movie is called PIKE Access Denied, but I get the Norman transcript, or I read it online, and yes. I saw where you were being accused of volunteering to lead this group to change the route so it would not go through your property. Have you been able to answer that?
Yeah, I there was an answer back in Wednesday's Norman transcript. Yes, I did answer some of those specific allegations that were made against me. The meeting, and I have met with Joey Kelly, the director of the Turnpike Authority, a couple of times in his office. And it's real interesting because the way that article spun it was that I wanted to go in and meet with him, and I was glad to do that. But actually how it all happened is that I was at a meeting in Stillwater of a transportation committee with one of our people, and Joey Kelly approached me. He came up to me just out of the clear blue, unsolicited, and suggested that he would be glad to meet with me anytime, and then gave me a slip of paper with his email address on it to contact him to set up a meeting. So that's how that occurred in the first place.
Well, the thing I couldn't believe about it is the last time we talked here on the radio, I made the statement, they're having to redraw the line because of the watershed. Are they asking you to choose your friends to have their houses obliterated? And then we all laughed because it was ridiculous, because you all are still as active on behalf of all of the people that could be in line of any turnpike in Oklahoma. So it made me very angry.
Well,
I just want to say, like, I mean, nobody has spent more time at the Capitol lobbying the legislature than Randy. And so, I mean, if he was just in it to save his own house, that's a weird way to spend your time. You know what I mean? So we really are about creating lasting change through better policy, legislation, and just accountability. There is no accountability.
Well, they haven't even gotten approval to build some of these turnpikes, like the Kickapoo. And so I don't
That's
understand. Is this a look over here, look at this shiny object called Randy Carter, so that they can do something else on the other side?
I think our movie hurt their feelings, and I think they just decided to pick on Randy because they're just having a little cranky day, maybe didn't get enough sleep. So
Well,
just send them a little care package and tell them it'll get better.
well, those are pretty serious things.
Well, I think just talking about, there's a map that we talked about, and Joe was contending that I gave them that map, lobbying them to move the turnpike off of my property and onto somebody else's. When actually what happened is that I was contending that I was taking issue with the statement that the Turnpike Authority said, well, these routes were designed to take the fewest homes possible. And I was in the meeting with the I don't remember if he was the director yet or still the deputy director. I think he was still the deputy director. Anyway, and I said, well, we have an engineer that has drawn up a map that shows some alternate routes that take fewer homes than the map that you'd drawn. And the deputy director asked to see that map. I didn't have it with me. So later I emailed it to him so he could see it. So that's where that map came from. It was not me lobbying to move it. Hey, take their house, don't take mine. And I've been steadfast from the very beginning. I don't want any of these turnpikes. So we don't need them. We don't want them. And you know, if you look at all the stuff, they are grossly overpriced. We think there's well, obviously, Attorney General Gettner Drummond has called for an investigative audit of the Turnpike Authority, and we think some of the things that he may be investigating are the constant use of change orders by the Turnpike Authority with their contractors. So
We've run across some new evidence that they may be overcharging people as well. So there's no limit to their bad behavior and the things they've been allowed to get away with.
So what can you do about this? I know that if you talk to Tom Elmore, he's very proud of the fact that, you know, this happened in the 80s, and Neil McCaleb said, hey, they don't want it. We aren't going to build it. Is that possible this time?
we hope so. We have by no means given up the fight. We are still working it on a regular basis, on a daily basis. And by the way, your friend Tom Elmore is featured quite a bit in this movie, the Pike Off movie coming out. So, and does an excellent job. He's quite passionate about transportation issues, and we greatly appreciate his passion on this cause.
So the movie is not out where everyone can see it. I hope you will at least post the trailer on either Pike Off OTA or No More Turnpikes or whatever, so people, because you can get a feel for the movie. I think I haven't seen the movie, but I got a feel for what it is, and it's amazing that you all started filming each other, you know, taking a stand against the turnpikes early on. Yes, absolutely. Well, like I said, it was pretty darn unnerving to realize I was sitting in the median of the turnpike. I could just envision big tandem trucks whizzing by on either side of me as I tried to avoid taking a nap in my favorite comfy chair. right.
And we do think the film will be available by the fall, if not sooner. So September maybe. We'll keep you updated.
And we are planning to have a public showing here in the Norman, Oklahoma City area as well. And the Circle Film Festival in Tulsa on July the 14th, that is open to the public, and tickets are available, as I understand it. So they can certainly, our Tulsa friends, we're going to make sure that all our Tulsa friends know about the availability of seeing the movie then. And hopefully we can make it. I'm certainly looking forward to making it available to all our legislators in the very near future. The legislature is the only guardrail there is on the Turnpike Authority. Legally, they're supposed to approve any routes that the Turnpike Authority wants to build a new turnpike on. But our Supreme Court has kind of circumvented that possibility with this access program.
What's the best way to get in touch with you and Tassie?
Pike off OTA. Also on the No More Turnpikes Facebook page. We can certainly respond to people reaching out there. Also, too, there's a contact phone number and information on pikeoffota.com. And also, if people would like to make a contribution to our cause, all our people are all volunteers. And, in fact, I kind of think it's funny. I've been doing all this lobbying, what Tassie's talked about, spent a lot of time with this program, and I'm making a monthly contribution to the organization. So, that's kind of it's like a negative paycheck.
Well, time is money as well. Randy Carter, again, is the Director of Strategic Communication. Tassie Hirschfeld is a board member. They are with the Oklahomans for Responsible Transportation and Pike Off OTA. I think that probably your movie is going to strike quite the nerve in Tulsa, in light of the Gilcrease Turnpike that no one had any choice about. So that just seems to be the way they operate, doesn't it?
Yes, and definitely want to encourage Tulsa people, like this story is about you too. It is not just about Cleveland County. We're really trying to get statewide reform, and OT has been very predatory in Tulsa as well.
I thank you all for your time, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm GWIN FAULCONER LIPPERT. You're listening to 1000 KTOK.